Hi, McLaughlin here from Snare Drum TV.com. This is episode 33. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to play the 16th note grid exercise, and it's really great for developing your accents and taps, as well as understanding how 16th note partials relate to the beat. If you want free snare drum sheet music for the 16th note grid, simply head over to snaredrumtv.com, find episode 33, and underneath that video, you will find a large button that you can click that will take you straight to the snare drum sheet music for the 16th note grid. Okay, so let's go and get into this. The 16th note grid is the same concept as the triplet grid that you learned earlier in a previous episode of Snare Drum TV. If you haven't learned that yet and you want to check that out really quick, just go to snaredrumtv.com, find the episode entitled Triplet Grid, and you can check that out. Basically, the concept of the grid is to take an accent and shift it throughout all the different partials of a particular rhythm and, you know, progress through each one. So, in the 16th note grid, we're going to start with the accent on the downbeats. Okay? So, the first measure of the 16th note grid is simply 4 beats of 16th notes with accents on all the downbeats. That'll sound like this. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. In the next measure, we're going to shift the accent back 1 16th note partial. So now the accent is going to be on the E of every beat. That'll sound like this. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. In the third measure of the 16th note grid, we're going to shift the accent back yet another 16th note partial. So now the accent is going to be on the and of every beat. That'll sound like this. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. And in the fourth measure of the 16th note grid, the accent gets shift back again, so now the accent is on the of every beat. And that will sound like this. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1. Okay? So that's every grouping that you will deal with in the 16th note grid. What we're going to do now is take all those groupings and place them into the 4-2-1 formula. Okay, so what I just played for you, strung together, will be the first section of the 16th note grid 4-2-1. Okay, to play the 2 section of the 4-2-1, we simply play 2 beats of each grouping. Okay, so that means we'll play 2 beats of 16 notes with the accent on the downbeat, followed by 2 beats of 16 notes with the accents on the E, then 2 beats of the accents on ands, and then 2 beats of the accents being on us. Okay? And we're going to do that whole cycle 2 times. Okay? So the 2 section of the 4-2-1 16 note grid will sound like this. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. Okay? Now in the 1 section, the last section of the 16th note grid 4-2-1, we are going to play 1 beat of each grouping. So we'll play 1 beat of 16 notes with the accent on the downbeat, followed by 1 beat of 16 notes with the accent on the E, followed by 1 beat of 16 notes with the accent on the and then 1 beat of 16 notes with the accent on the And we're going to do that whole cycle 4 times. Okay? So the 1 section will sound like this. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. Alright? And that's the 1 section. So, we're going to go ahead and put this all together now and play the entire 16th note grid 4-2-1 exercise. This is going to be at 85 beats per minute. If you don't have it worked out this fast yet, don't worry about it. Take your time, learn it slow, practice it slow, and gradually build your way up. Once you get to the point where you can play at 85 beats per minute, come back, check this video out, and play along. So here we go. This is 85 beats per minute, 16th note grid 4-2-1. 1, 2, ready, go. So that's the entire 16-note grid 4-2-1 exercise. It's a lot of fun to play. It's really, really good to help you really understand how each individual partial of a 16-note relates to the beat. I highly recommend that you stop your foot or tap your foot on the quarter note as you do this and or count out loud. It's really, really great exercise. That also means if you want to play this on drum set, you can put quarter notes on the bass drum and 2 and 4 on the hi-hat, or quarter notes on the hi-hat and 2 and 4 on the bass drum. A lot of different variations that you can do. Just put an ostinato in your feet and play that on top of it. Really, really good coordination and independence exercise for your feet if you're doing different ostinatos and things. But I recommend you just start with the exercise on snare drum first before you apply it to the drum set or anything else that you're working on, whether it be marimba or hand percussion or anything like that. But it's a really great exercise for any type of drummer or percussionist. So that's it for this exercise. I really hope that you enjoyed the 16-note grid. One of my favorites of all time. There's a lot of stuff you can do with it, just like with the triplet grid that we will get into in future episodes. So, as always, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please go tell a friend about Snare Drum TV, and I will see you next time on Snare Drum TV.